Looking at the technological advances, I used to be on dial-up looking for...
Hey, welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today we're going to talk about AEW Double or Nothing, the 4.5-hour marathon pay-per-view that took place May the 30th. Look, my initial thoughts on the show, some of these things had the potential to be really good. It just went on too long. I know I've seen people say, well, the show was $50, $60 or whatever. I want to feel like I got my money's worth. You know, it's the first first show with crowds. We want to make sure everything is up to snuff. You can do that without matches being too long. Sometimes you just don't have enough material. Okay? Sometimes leave people wanting more. But I'll give them credit. Some of their booking decisions were really good. Let's put it like that. I can't believe I want to say that. But they didn't have a chance to write any bad angles or anything like that. So most of the booking decisions were really good. So let's get right into the show. Hangman Page defeats Brian Cage. This match was fine. Just fine. I love the camera angle, the camera position for the show. That was actually unique. It was interesting. Ricky Starks came out to help him and Hook. They distracted Cage by sliding the FTW title to him. He threw it back. He didn't want it. When he was distracted, he got hit with a buckshot lariat and pinned. After the match, Cage basically argues with Stark, and he's like he's about to hit him. And then Starks reminds him about his injured neck and that Cage can't put his hands on him. So an impotent Cage just sort of storms off. And he's pretty angry. And so this was just Hangman Page getting his win back. I think this match was too long? No, I think this match was fine. This match was fine for the length that it was given. The question now is, again, we see that we're still teasing the breakup of Team Taz, which is fine because Team Taz probably needs to break up. I think it's run its course. You know, literally, you're not putting any titles on them. They've just been together just as a placeholder for a lot of these guys. It seems like Tony Khan is ready to shuffle the deck. You know, no pun intended, considering the casino theme of the show. But maybe he's actually shuffling the deck and doing something different. So we'll see what Brian Cage ends up and what this means for the FTW title and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. So they showed a video package for the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. The Young Bucks says that throwing their shoes in the mud was crossing the line because there's only 5,000 of those shoes ever made. What do they call them? Air Dior's or something like that. But here's the crazy thing. I don't remember which one it was. I believe it was Nick. He has colored his hair like an auburn brown. And he also has a septum ring. Like, these dudes have turned themselves into white girls that shop at Spencer's Gifts. And this is like their new character. You know, they were doing Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage mockery stuff in the match. I'm talking about the Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Young Bucks match. The match itself was an attempt to really get over the Young Bucks, but to me, it didn't work. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. For starters, Moxley and Kingston should have won. I don't see who the Young Bucks are holding the titles for because there's no other teams. Like, they've beaten everyone. So unless you're about to bring a team in, I don't see who they're holding the titles for. At least when FTR was holding the belts, you could see the other teams coming. But like, I don't see anybody coming for the Young Bucks. They're just kind of, running roughshod over everyone. And that's similar to Kenny Omega, but we'll get there in a moment. But Moxley and Kingston should have won this match. But this also was an opportunity to put the Young Bucks through the ringer. And what I mean by that is sometimes your character needs to get shredded a little bit, or needs to get opened up to new things. And the Young Bucks should have been opened up, to a more rougher, brawling style. And Kingston and Moxley had an opportunity to do that. But the Young Bucks were still doing Young Bucks stuff. They just did it with Moxley and Kingston. And that was kind of like a to me. It was another Young Bucks match. It was too long, and they did everything that they usually do. And so there was also some confusion where you had Carl Anderson come out there to distract. Then there was some Gallows trying to sneak up from behind. He got caught. Then Kazarian came out there because he's the elite hunter. He's hunting the elite. So he chooses this match and chooses to attack somebody who is not integral into the match. Instead of doing, what you would think, and that is making sure that the Young Bucks lose, which, probably would have been something they would have done in WWE. Which, AEW is trying to avoid that stuff. But attacking people who are not involved in the match doesn't seem to really help. Like, they would have come looking for you if you would have cost them the tag team titles. You wouldn't have to hunt them. They'd come looking for you. But Moxley, of course, he got to bleed because that's his thing. They did 4 BTE triggers to beat Moxley. Look, I know we're supposed to be putting him over like he's, Wile E. Coyote. You got to do everything in the world to stop him. I don't see why he was doing jobs to the BTE trigger in the first place. I just don't see that move being a finish. For starters, probably Eddie Kingston should have taken the pin if they were going to take a. For starters, they shouldn't have lost. But if you're going to beat somebody, they should have beat Kingston. Kingston was a good babyface here, though. He actually looked so much better. He seems to be in so much better shape now. And I just don't mean like his look. I mean his stamina. He can actually go now. This is a tag team situation. So it was a little bit easier. But I actually I would have enjoyed this match if it had been shorter. If this match was too long, and it wasn't violent enough. And I hate to say that, but this was a match where Kingston and Moxley needed to drag the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks needed to fight and maybe even cheat and all that kind of stuff from behind in order to steal this one. But it was, again, very 50-50. The Young Bucks got to do all of the flippy-do moves, and they tried to have Moxley and Kingston fight from underneath by having them get, one of them is thrown outside the ring or they down, and it's 2-on-1, 2-on-1. And, of course, they just in the ring forever because there's no conception of rules in AEW. But to me, that was the wrong way to go. I think they should have went the other way, where Moxley and Kingston is destroying these guys. Because, for starters, they're small, the Young Bucks. And then, they could have fought from underneath, cheated, even done some little hardcore stuff. Like, these are hardcore guys, Kingston and Moxley. You could have hit them in the head with a barbed wire baseball bat or something and stole a win. And then, set up a rematch later. Even if you're not going to do it immediate, set up something later. But I guess it's just the Young Bucks doing what Young Bucks do. So the Casino Battle Royal, you know what? I'm going to save us all the trouble of going through this match and all the things that happened. I'm just going to talk about Jungle Boy winning. Jungle Boy won this match. And you know what? Fucking awesome. It was fucking awesome. Good job. This is Booker of the Year shit. He tried to make Jungle Boy here. Now, to his credit, again, he's trying to make Jungle Boy. Not to his credit, the match is going to be built up for Dynamite. And it's in 2 weeks. And to me, I'm just kind of like, Like, you couldn't give us, when is the next pay-per-view? I don't know when the next pay-per-view is. But that should have been the main event for the next pay-per-view. Let Jungle Boy main event the pay-per-view. But Christian putting over Jungle Boy at the end there, telling him to go get the belt. It was organic. It was genuine. Jungle Boy's reaction was, fantastic. He feels like a massive baby face right now, which is, begs the question of why do you want to kill that? See, this is a big issue here. It's like you got this guy and he was super over and you had him win this match and he's super over from winning this match. So that means there are people going to be really excited to see this match, him versus Kenny Omega. And everybody in the building knows he's not going to win, right? He's too young, still a little too green. He's better than he used to be, that's for sure. But, we just know he's not going to win. Why throw water on his fire right now? It would probably been better off for you to push the title match back and let that momentum build and let people really believe that, he's getting a title match in 4 months or whatever, and do like a Rocky style build up for it. That would have been so much better. Then, okay, we just need a match for Dynamite in 2 weeks. So here it is, Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega. Like, there's zero chance that Jungle Boy is going to win that match. Everybody with a functioning brain, nobody believes Jungle Boy is going to win this match. So while putting him over is a good thing, because they were obviously trying to avoid the whole Edge thing, right? of Edge when he won the Royal Rumble. They're trying to avoid that. But Jungle Boy was a great choice. He's an organically over babyface. I just don't see why you need to beat him. And then what do you got for him after that? And that's my chief issue right there. What do you have for him after this in 2 weeks when he wrestles Kenny Omega and loses? What is next for him? What do you got for him next? Because you still have so many other people that you've been still building up. Darby Allin. You're still building up Hangman Page. Where are these guys going? Like, what direction are they going in? But I hated this battle royal. It's stupid. They come in groups of 5. I had a very difficult time trying to figure out who was going where, and people were disappearing, and I had no idea they were even eliminated. Like Colt Cabana, I had no idea he was even eliminated. I didn't know where he went. He just vanished. And the commentators were not calling it. Leo Rush was the surprise. Leo Rush is the kind of guy AEW needs. He's got a bit of an attitude, so I don't know if he's going to stick around for a long time. But if you can get Leo Rush and take him off the market, they should do it. They should take the chance. Leo is a fantastic athlete. He's very young. He's still only like 25 or 26. He's right in that demographic of guys that they really like. You have another heel with national exposure that can work with some of your young guys. So now you got the potential for Leo Rush and Darby Allin, Leo Rush and Hangman Page, and Leo Rush and Jungle Boy. Those matches, Leo Rush and Pac, Leo Rush and Orange Cassidy, who is near 40, but, Leo Rush and Kenny Omega. You have all those opportunities there. They need to sign. If they don't have Leo Rush signed right now, he needs to be signed right now. Also, the way he got eliminated in less than like 3 minutes, it was bullshit. This battle royal sucked. I'm gassed off the finish. The finish was great. It was a great finish, but that was it. Otherwise, it was the shits. Speaking of the shits, Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes was indeed the shits. Cody came out dressed like Captain Crunch meets George Washington meets Michael Jackson. The only good thing about this is they changed his music back. Really good. I like that. Now, Ogogo was actually quite good. His movement was a little stilted, but he seemed to really know what he's doing. Cody, he didn't know whether he was going to sell everything or not. 1 minute he's selling like he got shot in the stomach. The next he's jumping around and doing big moves. Like, one of the most egregious things that I saw Cody do is he take the big punch to the stomach. Like, this is a guy who was crumpling people, knocking them out with a single gut punch. One gut punch, he's knocking them out, right? Cody took like 4 of those things in this match. Like, we saw that 2 of them had Austin Gunn bleeding from the mouth. He took 4, right? Probably more than that, if we're being honest. And he took like one of them super uppercuts or something like that. Like, imagine for the Undertaker is out there and Hulk Hogan needs to take 4 tombstone power drivers and still loses. You would be like, what the fuck are you thinking? Now, I'm not saying Ogogo has the potential to be Undertaker. I'm just giving you an example. This guy really only had 2 matches. He shouldn't be in this position. Instead of building the guy up, again, we put a little bit of steam on him and then we threw water on it. But like I said, one of the most egregious things is when Cody took one of the gut punches. Now, and he did a power slam right after that. Like he popped up, did a power slam, and then went right back to selling. Like, what? Like, Cody, are you fucking Hulk Hogan? Like, what is going on here? But they had an opportunity to tell the appropriate story, and it seems like that's what they were going to do. Where Cody is an amateur wrestler, and Ogogo is a boxer. Common sense, right? Ogogo would throw a punch, Cody would block it, he would grab the arms, he'd try to take him down, tie his legs up. That could have been like the simple story of the match, especially since Cody is the babyface. Cody took him down, grabbed his arms, whatever. I know he did do a little bit of this, but they kept going away from it. It wasn't consistent. They would do a little bit, and then they would have Cody get hit with one of those big punches that we're told are knockout punches, and then he'd be right back up and right back at it 2 seconds later. There was no consistency. I feel like the crowd actually started to sort of die down here. They were, maybe I think the Jungle Boy thing had kind of blew it. A lot of people climaxed right there. They were like, whoa, Jungle Boy. And then they were kind of like, oh, okay, Cody. They was kind of still excited for the rest of the show, but it wasn't like the first couple of matches. The first couple of matches, people were hot. But like I said, Cody, his inconsistent way of selling is unacceptable for somebody with his experience. It is unacceptable. The story should have been, hey, this is a wrestling ring. This is not boxing. I'm going to grab your arm, put you in a submission hold, grab your legs up, take you down. And then maybe he sneaks a body punch in 3 or 4 minutes into the match. After you completely out-wrestled him and made him look silly. You've shined as a babyface. Got your babyface shine in. That's your first act. Second act, go, boom. He lands a body punch. Now, of course, Cody isn't going to be Flip Merchandise, whatever the fuck his name was, who got hit in the stomach once and was knocked out. Again, knocking people out with a gut punch. But that could have opened up Ogogo's offense. Like, boom, now Cody can sell the body and Ogogo can go to work. He can show what he can do. But this constant 50-50 back and forth shit is like, it's not doing these people any favors, dog. Like, it's not helping. They did do a military celebration, which I thought was, it was okay. I wonder if people were going to be concerned about that. There was a point in this match where Cody and Anthony Ogogo were getting coached. Like, they both was in their corners, and Cody was talking to Arn, and QT is talking to Ogogo, and they both have their backs to each other. And I was just like, huh? Huh? Now, they did also try to tell the story of why Anthony Ogogo is not a fighter anymore. And, oh, yeah, he's blind in one eye. And then they did a thing where he got cut in that one eye. I'm guessing that's why they had to they separated. So that probably because QT had to cut Ogogo. Because he probably never did it himself. So QT probably cut him. And then they started doing Ogogo was bleeding. Ogogo was bleeding. He's got blood. And I saw it instantly. Like, okay, he's going to lose due to blood in the eyes. Okay. Completely, perfectly respectable finish. Blood in the eyes. It didn't seem to factor that much into it. And then Cody wins with a vertebreaker, a move I've never seen him do before. Now, I'm not against people using moves I've never seen before. And if you're going to use a vertebreaker, it should be the finish. I just kind of wonder why. I just wonder why he couldn't just use the crossroads and beat him. But Ogogo has potential. I just don't know where he goes from here. Sometimes there is something to be said about you trying to put young guys over to the point where you're making them peak too early. And there's nothing for them to do afterwards. Like I think that's kind of what happened on Hangman Page. Like he peaked very early. He hit that peak when he wrestled Jericho, and then he had the tag team title run. Now it's been mishmash ever since. Now I'm concerned about what you're going to do with Darby now. What are you going to do with Jungle Boy after, again, what are you going to do with Anthony Ogogo? What did you do with Jade Cargill after she had her big match with Shaq and all that? There was no follow-up. Like you having these guys, you building them up, sure. But you having them building up for this big match and then you have nothing for them afterwards. But the match was fine, I guess. So next match, Lance Archer and Miro. So apparently Miro cheap shot at Jake Roberts during the weigh-in of a Britt Baker Sheeta match. And he wasn't out there. And plus it was his birthday. So we thought that Jake is out doing Jake things. Enjoying himself and being in good shape. This match was pretty rugged, which is what I expected it to be. But early in the match, you see Lance Archer wanted to do a moonsault. So it's like it's going to be that kind of party. It's going to be big boys doing moonsaults. Miro threw Lance Archer into the crowd, and then with a belly-to-belly suplex, then threw him back over the side. I thought that was pretty dope. Miro did the yes kicks when he was holding Archer's braid. And it was at that point where I realized Archer's hair is braided. And I'd just be like, whatever. So Jake eventually comes out. He's got the snake with him. And he's trying to throw the snake in the ring. And Miro catches him. He catches him, drags Jake in the ring. Throws another punch on Jake. Shakes the snake bag and then throws it. The crowd popped for that. Popped for Miro completely destroying Jake's snake. And I even was like, okay, that was cool. He should have did like a full earthquake and stomped it and then threw it. Like that would have been, or earthquake sat on it, but I'm saying like he could have stomped it or whatever and then threw it. People would have been like, oh, wow. But I think the visual made the most sense. Like it was really good. The finish, though, didn't like it. Here's why I didn't like the finish. The commentary is talking about Lance Archer's surgically repaired back. And you can see that Lance Archer does not want to bend for the camel clutch. Like, so the moment he gets in the camel clutch, he's standing up. Like, he's trying his best not to be in that position because his back is surgically repaired, so he doesn't want to bend it. Common sense, right? Why didn't they use another finish? What is wrong with them using another finish? This is like the second time he's been in a position where he's got to win, he's got to go over, but you can use other moves. Just use the Machka kick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Figure out something else. But this, I'm going to pull him all the way back. That gimmick. No, I don't like that. That's stupid. And then it's just, he passed out. It's like, dude, he's been in the hole like 10 seconds. Nobody passes out that fast. Like you have to be out like at the gallows. Like 18th century France. You have to get hung in order to be unconscious that fast. It's not possible. The match was not really what I wanted it to be, but there was still some cool stuff about it. Not enough for me to to bury the whole thing. But Lance Archer, if you got bad back and all that kind of shit, tell the guy to, hey, how about we just work around this and you just hit me with your big super kick or whatever, and I'll stay down for that. Instead of, I know that, you're trying to get his finish over, but there are other guys to do that. He doesn't have to put your finish over. And plus you could develop a new finish. So, but I don't know. Both of those matches, They weren't too long. The Cody match had some lulls in it, like when they were separate for a long time. It didn't make much sense. Inconsistencies as far as momentum. Somebody couldn't get momentum. The new version of Miro is cool. He's working in his lane. He's the badass. That's his lane. That's what he should be. It's just unfortunate that Lance Archer is a victim of that. But of course, he kind of has to be. So Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship. This match was too long. It was entirely too long. It was a lot of botches in this match. There were some holes that were completely missed. Some counters and different things like that where you could see right through it. Then you also had Rebel hitting Britt Baker in the head with a crutch right in front of the ref. Didn't know this match was no disqualification. I mean, it was right in front of the ref. And I could not tell you why she just decided to hit her with that thing. But the entire point of it was they trying to create false finishes in a match that is inevitable, where everybody knows the outcome. And that is, I give them credit for it because it's thoughtful, at least. You know, they're trying to say, hey, there's an opportunity that Shida could win. But everybody knew going in Shida was losing. So why did it take so long? You know? Also, Shida losing by submission. I'm not a fan. I think that this woman, look, she's been a champion for 300 and some odd days. I think she should have got pinned. You know, there's just something about babyfaces tapping out that sometimes it just bothers me. Like, I just don't like sometimes to see a babyface tap out. And she is one of those characters I don't think should have been submitting. You know, she seemed like a never say die, fight through it babyface. And for her to like tap out just was bizarre to me. So, you know, it is what it is. We got Tony Schiavone hugging Britt Baker after the match and whispering good things to her, whispering sweet nothings to her. And I'm like, are we turning Britt Baker babyface? Because she was cheating in the match and she was, you know, being very arrogant. I know the crowd likes her because the crowd likes everybody. You know, there's nobody who isn't over in AEW. Especially since this crowd hadn't been there, they're probably going to react for everybody. I just didn't like the idea of Tony Schiavone being there to be like her support. Especially since like she got over by bullying him. And I don't see them as being friends, but maybe they are. Who knows? But Britt Baker being the champion is the right move. The match was filled with botches. It was too damn long. It took the wind out of me, if we're being honest. Shida was a good champion, but I don't know what she does now. Like, she's not getting the belt back. And she was barely in storylines when she was the champion. So I guess say hello to Dark and Dark Elevation. You're gonna get real acquainted with those shows. You'll get real acquainted with Rampage. I don't know what to tell you. So match 7, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin and Sting. Sting actually did a dive in this match, and it's only noticed. It's like a dog bites man story. Nobody expects the 60-year-old guy to do a dive. You know, but he did a dive, and I'm like, okay, all right. The fans were pretty interested in this. I was like, okay. Saw that Paige and Sky were 8-0, and I'm like, I saw one of those matches, maybe. There was a fantastic backbreaker by Scorpio Sky in this match. It looked like it hurt like hell. It looked like it was a shoot backbreaker, like a you know, an uncle using it to do it to like his 7-year-old nephew or something like that. Then you had this specific spots where Ethan Page gorilla presses Darby Allin and launches him into the crowd. And obviously it's into Darby's people because they're talking about, oh, his brother is over there. Now, I asked my brother, my vision is not the best. So I asked my brother, like, when he crashed into those people at the outside in the barricade, did his brother start laughing? Because it seemed to me like it was like a jackass moment. Like once Darby came into the crowd it was like a big reaction, like, oh, but then it simmered down almost immediately. But I saw the guy go down. I saw like a smile on his face. And maybe it was just me, but that seemed kind of weird. Also, what seemed kind of weird, Sting goes out there to try to help him get back into the ring, only for Darby to be limp, completely limp. And then they get to 8, 9, Darby jumps in the ring on his own accord. Whatever. It was still kind of impressive. Darby's very small, so it's probably easy to do. But I'm still going to say, hey, it's been a while since I've seen somebody get body pressed into a crowd. It's been since, ECW, because most people don't put plants that close. But at least they don't use plants that often. But it says something because this was the second time somebody got thrown into the crowd that night, Miro threw Lance Archer into the crowd. And now this guy's throwing Darby into the crowd. Like, somebody needs to tell people, like, hey, we're doing that spot, so you guys shouldn't do it. But whatever, they do their thing. You do your thing, I do my thing. Everybody does their own thing. Sting did a code red. Now, here's the thing: it wasn't quite a code red. It was close. It was close. It was closer than most people would give him credit for. I loved the finish of this match. But before I get to the finish, I do have to talk about the double slap spot. Darby Allin is in a submission hold. I think he's in a heel hook. Ethan Page was in the Scorpion Deathlock, and they're smacking each other in the face. While they're supposed to be in submission holds, not selling the holds, they're smacking each other. And then they're eye gouging each other. And I just looked at this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? What is that? What is that? Really? What is it? What are they doing? Just fuck. For starters, why is everybody in the ring at the same time? That's first problem. Second problem is these guys are not selling the submission holds. Like, the heel hook of Scorpio Sky, we're led to believe, put Sting on the ropes for like 2 weeks, right? Didn't Sting not show up for a week or something like that because of that heel hook? And here he's just like, I'm in a heel hook, but whatever. Smack, 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 smack. Like, come on, dog. That was some bullshit. I hate when people do stuff like that, trying to be tough or trying to be cool and trying to be edgy. You're not showing anything except for these submission holds are bullshit, and nobody should take them seriously. That's what you're showing me. You're showing me that these submission holds are bullshit. Nobody shouldn't take them seriously. Other than that, this match was it was fine. The finish, I did enjoy it. Scorpio Sky tried to do his flipping over the rope cutter thing, and it got countered into the Scorpion Death Drop, which is a great variation of the many finishes, the same finish that DDP and Sting used in WCW. Some of my favorite DDP matches are the matches he had with Sting. Even though I think both of the matches that they had on Nitro, they had the same finish, where Sting counters like the Diamond Cutter or whatever into the Scorpion Death Drop. So, it was a great finish. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the finish, rather. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, what do you got for him next? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Whatever. Match 8. Orange Cassidy, Pac, and Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title. Now, let's talk about this. They showed a package earlier. It's like a video of the three guys working out their training regimens. And you got Pac is there doing push-ups like a madman, like he's in prison, and you got Orange Cassidy just sitting in a chair, waiting patiently. And Kenny Omega's playing with a ball, like shooting hoops. And I'm just like, I know that they're trying to show their characters and their personalities through this scene here. But it says a lot that, your world champion is like, fuck this. And one of the contenders is like, fuck this. And one guy The one guy who probably shouldn't even be in this match is the one who's taking it the most seriously. You know, that's I wouldn't do it. It's not a thing I would do. I wouldn't show that my champion is so lack. I know he's supposed to be overconfident and all that. And Orange Cat's supposed to be like, above all this stuff and he's too cool. But I wouldn't make that decision. I would say if any times for Orange Cassidy to be serious, the world title's on the line. But this match was too goddamn long. This match was long as fuck. And I was not happy about it. I yawned so much in the second half of this show. From the Cody match to this match, my eyes were burning and watering. I'm pretty sure it was like 10 or somewhere near 11 when this match started. I was like, I cannot believe they started this match so late. There's too much stuff that happened in this match to go through it blow by blow. But they, again, I said earlier in the Hikaru Shida Britt Baker match, they did a good job of creating false finishes. They did a good job creating false finishes here too. They knew that the crowd wanted Orange Cassidy to win, but Orange Cassidy wasn't going to win. So they did a good job of basically giving people teasing it. Teasing it twice, 3 times. And then when Don Callis finally jumps up from the apron and runs into the ring and he's like trying to stop all of this stuff from happening, he's trying to save the title. It came across as very TNA Jeff Jarrett-ish to me, and that's where people are going to lean towards, like there was some stuff with TNA when Jeff Jarrett held the title too long. I know they have a plan, like they have a plan for the world title and it's probably going to go with Hangman Page and who knows, it'll probably be next year or at Full Gear or whatever the fuck. But you have to be careful what you're teasing and not to burn the audience out by teasing these guys winning these titles so much. That was the problem with the AWA. You tease and tease and tease and never fucking give. And this match should have been one-on-one and it should have been shorter. You should have cheated. And then that's it. We cheat to beat them and that's it. That's what they did here. But they did it in what took, like 40 minutes or something like that. 30 minutes. It was however long it was too long. And they didn't have enough story, for it to last that long. But the crowd chanted "fuck you, Don" to Don Callis because he interfered and pulled Kenny Omega's leg and pulled the ref's leg or whatever out of the ring. And Pac getting hit with all the belts was stupid. And we're gonna throw all the belts in the ring to hit Pac with every single one of the belts. It's like, why? Why do you have to get hit with every belt? And this doesn't seem to matter to me. Nothing matters. Nothing fucking matters anymore. And Omega wins with a counter into a crucifix. You know what? Perfectly respectable finish. Didn't bury Orange Cassidy. Omega steals it. Perfectly fine. You could have done this in a one-on-one match, though. You could have did that exact same finish in a one-on-one match without Pac. And in 15 to 20 minutes, not 30, But this is self-indulgent AEW. Everything has to go long. But I think that the finish was fine. The match itself, just okay. Was it... Kenny Omega is the king of weak-ass knee strikes. All he does is throw knee strikes, dog. Like, I just seem like every other offensive move is a knee strike or him trying to do weird things to your body. All right, so after this, Tony Schiavone announced the special analyst for Rampage, their new show on TNT, and it is Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. Mark Henry! Interesting choice. I didn't know Mark Henry was a free agent. Vince is just basically sending all of these guys to AEW, like, go get that money while it's available, bro. You're not going to be around forever. Go get that money while it's available. There's always going to be a spot for you. Big Show and Mark Henry, they lose nothing by going to do this stuff for AEW. They didn't lose anything. The question remains, though, because Mark Henry was one of the chief recruiters for WWE, is he now going to be recruiting for AEW? Because that's going to be the case. Mark Henry's going to have his pulse, he's going to have his fingers on the pulse of some things. And that could be what his real value is. Mark Henry found a couple of people and got them brought to NXT, and he's helping to run that promotion that Hannibal TV was on. And that's he has some he's got some prospects. He probably does. So he may have, not just vocals, not just his presence, also his connections, his ability to recruit. He's been a talent recruit. And hey, if he can find some new talent for AEW, and he's also, a guy who's very knowledgeable. He's been in the game since 1995, 1994, 1995. Hey, why not? Go for it, and WWE's, basically treating AEW like, hey, these Legends contracts are great, but we can save some money by getting rid of some of these guys and you guys just go pick them up. Okay, cool. We don't feel too bad about letting them go anymore. There'd probably be somebody else in 2 months that would probably be leaving and going over. I mean, maybe not Daniel Bryan, though. I know that much. All right, so let's talk about the main event. The main event, the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle in a half cinematic match, I'm guessing. Look, I don't think this match was live. I don't. Because of the way that they were cutting back and forth, it felt to me like, this match was put together. And then when Jericho and MJF comes out of the, when they came out of the I want to call it like the mezzanine area, the popcorn area, whatever. Like that was when the show kicked in. They had done this trick in WWE with the Boiler Room Brawl, the Mankind Undertaker match, where, they watched, it was on screens, and then they fight their way towards the crowd, and then boom, it's live from there. So MJF, blades, and then he starts to bleed. He comes out the area because he's been thrown through the window. And so I think that's what they did. This idea that maybe they did the whole match live is bullshit. I don't believe that at all. I think that they did half, maybe 3/4 cinematic with the last quarter of the match, which only featured 4 performers, by the way. Sammy Guevara, Shawn Spears, MJF, and Jericho. And MJF and Jericho wasn't even the finishing sequence. They got the bulk of the time of this match, but they didn't get the finishing sequence. Which, again, they're putting over young guys. They had Sammy Guevara win the big match to save the Inner Circle. He was the guy who wanted to quit when MJF was there in the first place. Shawn Spears was there to take pins. Okay. All of that makes sense. Then there were some Easter eggs here. Conan showed up to kind of bring back LAX. He stopped Tully from attacking these guys. But then you also had Tully serving the guys drinks. We're going to stop and have a drink first in the middle of our big fight. It's like, come on, bro. The Wardlow Hager stuff felt useless, but it was a cool visual of them fighting in the freezer with the meat hanging and Wardlow trying to stab him with an icicle. I thought that, or ice pick. That was pretty cool. I like the visual of the hanging meat in a wrestling situation. I hated everything to do with Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara, mainly because it was garbage and it involved Shawn Spears. They never did show how Sammy Guevara got out of those handcuffs. Like they told us, oh yeah, the bolt cutters are right there. But I didn't see that he could reach them. You had people chasing him on motorcycles and golf carts, and it all seemed real silly and stupid. The MJF Jericho stuff was also silly, with Jericho basically beating this guy up with one arm. And Urban Meyer is there, and he's passing footballs so Jericho can throw footballs at him. You know, they were hitting each other with things that were completely not only not lethal, but things you could probably bounce off the head of an infant. Like Hager was hitting Wardlow in the head with empty jugs. And so now you got this guy trying to sell these empty jugs. It's like that shit does not hurt, bro. Like I know it doesn't hurt. They didn't factor at all into the finish, Wardlow and Hager. So it's like complete masturbation. What the fuck were they even doing? Same thing with FTR and Santana and Ortiz. You had one of the guys, I believe it was Cash Wheeler, who was literally throwing bottles at, I think it was Santana or Ortiz, and the other two got locked in an elevator. So I get it that they were trying to explain why they were not going to be factoring into the finish. But, I still didn't like the fact that they weren't factored into the finish. Like I would have preferred for them to be in some way an influence on what was happening in the finish. But Sammy Guevara wins the match, saves the Inner Circle. Very poetic. I'm perfectly fine with that as a finish. So the show, ultimately, the matches were too long. That's an AEW thing. Matches are too long. People are too self-indulgent. They want to do everything. They want to throw every single spot that they know into this match. And it's like, it's not necessary. Just tell the story that you want to tell. It's like writing a novel and it's 500,000 words. It's like, oh, cool. You said everything you wanted to say. You introduced every character and every angle that you wanted to introduce. But you have to realize that buries the story. Like you did a bunch of cool kick flips and all that kind of stuff. But did you bury your story? And a lot of these matches they did. They just kind of said, fuck the story. We got to get this stuff in. We got to get this in. And these matches are ballooned. This show shouldn't have been 4 hours. This show should not have been 4 hours. They need to practice an art of delivering in a more efficient way. Efficiency. That matters. There's something to be said about it. And I know I'm saying this in my video. My review is 48 minutes. But still, be a little bit more efficient with your matches. This show could have been 3 hours. If you, in 3 hours on the nose with the same 8 or 9 matches. But you just kind of had to shave some of the other stuff off. Stop being scared to say no, Tony Khan. Stop saying we're going to give people 4-hour shows. It's not necessary. All right, let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, talk at me, and donate if you can, man. Happy holidays, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.